Hi guys, Scotty from Gold Star Fishing. Just want to show you how to use a few of our different rigs. We've got a couple we'll show you today. We've got our easy mackerel rig, which is more for when you anchor it up and just sitting. And we've also got one of our trolling rigs with the sider head that I'll show you guys how to use. We'll start with the trolling rig, as it's the harder of the two to rig up. And we've got some local garfish that we're going to feed onto there. And you just want to straighten your garfish up and just sort of get him sitting as flat and as straight as you can. And once you've done that, you've got your spike on top and you've got your spring inside. So what you want to do is you want to line the spike up so it's going to pass through the center of the garfish's nose just to hold his mouth shut. And you just want to press in that first hook just to leave an indentation. I don't know if you guys can see that indentation on where that hook's got to go. And then once you've marked it, you'll come up from underneath with that hook. And now that spike has lined up with his nose, and you just want to push it through, straight out through the top of his jaw. And you can see they've got the beak. You just want to cut that beak off with our snips here, about 1 centimetre past, and you slide your spring down, and you just pass that spring so it just goes past that tab, and then you just want to wind it on to hold everything tight. I find 4 or 5 turns is enough. And then what I'll do is I'll just twist it, make sure everything's straight, sitting the way that it should. And that cider head will slide down on top there. And that's it. Some guys like to use a rubber band, so we'll show you that. I personally don't. I don't really worry about it. The only time I'd use a rubber band is if I was, say, trolling inshore, wasn't confident on getting many strikes and I really needed that 100% hookup rate. But I find that out the reef, out where we're doing it, we find that our hookup rate's pretty good anyway. We don't need these rubber bands, so we don't really worry about it. You just get that hook there and pass through. You just want to roll that up, and now that hook's rubber band on there. Everything's still sitting straight, sitting nice, but you can twist that hook to the bottom, so you've got one going each way. That's the beauty of the swivels. But yeah, like I said, we don't worry about the rubber bands. We just let that second hook drag behind. But yeah, that's up to you guys. It's just a little trick. If you want to do it, you can. But yeah, like I said, we don't do it. With the easy mackerel rig, same thing. You just want to mark where your hook's got to go, but this time I'll mark from the side. We'll just leave that indentation there, and we'll just come through the side of the fish, through that softer part of the belly, and we're lining the hook up, the front hook through his eye, just like that, and just so he sits flat again. Everything's all good. And once again, I like to snip the beaks. I just prefer it. But yeah, and that's sitting in there nice. It's going to hang nice in the current. And if there's not a lot of current, we'll hang them from the side. If you do have a lot of run, we come from underneath again, and it's the same thing, same marking. You can just come from underneath the garfish, and this time, instead of going through the eye, you're going to come out through the top of his jaw again. And that's just going to hold his mouth shut. And the beauty of doing it from underneath is he's going to hang quite sleek, and that's going to be the way he would normally swim. Presents a little bit more naturally. But yeah, if there's not a lot of run, I like to hang them from the side, and that'll hold them up a little bit in the water, because we don't use balloons or floats or anything with this. We like to present them pretty natural, and generally we're throwing them out in 20 to 35 metres. Sometimes out to 40, so we're not too worried about it hitting the bottom, because we use 8-ounce leads just to get our trout baits to the bottom. So yeah, these aren't going to sink a lot of the times by themselves. And if they are sinking all the way to the bottom, our trick is, if it's 30 metres deep, just throw 20 metres of line out, don't let any more out, and just let it hang 10 metres off the bottom, and the mackerel will find it. But yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. There's not a lot to these rigs. We try and make everything pretty simple. So yeah, go and get into them.